You ever find yourself rummaging through the pantry, eating until you're full and then some? Maybe you're bored, maybe it's late at night, maybe it's stress. Sometimes binge eating can feel almost impossible to control. Today I'm going to share my top 5 strategies to help you stop binge eating for good. These are both tried and tested from both my personal experiences and my experience working with clients that struggled to overcome binge eating. I'll also reveal why solely relying on willpower may be the reason why you've been stuck and how you can start using a simpler strategy instead. And when I started bodybuilding in my early years of college, I was having insane cheat meals that were up to 6,000 calories just in one sitting. And that binge eating habit followed me for years to come. That bodybuilding coach at the time had us on a strict meal plan, eating the same foods every single day for over a year. And we were given one cheat meal at the end of every single week where we could eat as much as we want of whatever we wanted, all within one sitting. And ultimately, he told us that we eat such a large amount of calories in this one meal, our body is not going to be able to digest it, and ultimately we'll be able to just keep on getting leaner because that'll all just pass right through our system and our body will excrete that insane amount of calories we ate. Which, as I learned, is definitely not the case. And as a coach, I've seen some of the same issues come up with clients as with the rise of the whole fitness industry on social media. Cheat meals have sort of became a trend or a very popular thing to do and even boast about. I've come to believe that if you set up your nutrition plan and structure properly and aren't overly restrictive during the week, you don't even need cheat meals, and they're definitely unnecessary. And this isn't about never enjoying a treat again. It's simply about eating in a way that doesn't make you feel the need to binge. So let's dive in. Tip number 1, just like with making any sort of change, we need to identify what the trigger is that is ultimately causing you to binge. Is it hunger? Is it boredom? Is it stress? Is it cravings? Is it your environment? Identifying what this trigger is going to be powerful because it lets us pinpoint the source of our binging versus just focusing on the negative outcome, which is the overeating. So next time you feel the urge to eat or overeat, take a second to step back, think about where are you right now? What is your environment? Is there something in your environment that is stimulating you to start overindulging? What were you doing in the minutes leading up to that? Was it something that stressed you out? What were you doing in the days leading up to that? Are you continuously overtraining? Are you continuously under eating? What is your goal or outcome that you're looking to achieve with the food? Are you trying to cope with something? Is it a comfort mechanism? Do you feel super hungry like you need to binge? Is it more of a reward mechanism where you've trained hard or you've been good with your diet that you feel you deserve a treat or that you deserve to overindulge on whatever it is that's in front of you? Like I said, for myself, most of the time for me, it was simply boredom that was coming on, and I just went to have one bite of something and then that turned into eating a whole box or a whole bag. And other times it was definitely the stress aspect where I was overly stressed with something, whether that was work or some other situation in life. And rather than dealing with that conflict head on, I just went and started eating. And that was not a good habit either. And then, like I said, once I started, I usually didn't stop because I wanted to fit as many calories into that one point in time so that it would quote unquote cancel out, as was kind of instilled in me before. So once we have that trigger identified, we can then move on to the mindset around it and ultimately being in control of your decisions and not letting food be in control of you. So studies have shown that how you speak about yourself and about food can deeply affect the habits, and switching from I can't have that to I don't eat that will ultimately be the difference maker between you feeling the need to combat the restriction and letting your identity drive your choice. So by saying I can't have that, you're restricting yourself, you're letting that food drive your decision versus saying, I don't eat that, or I don't eat that right now because it doesn't align with my goals. That is letting your goals and your identity drive that decision forward, which moving down the road, you're not going to feel restricted. You're going to feel more self-confident. You're going to have more self-belief and more self-discipline that is going to lead to better, more consistent choices down the road. You've probably noticed that once you start to eat poor food, you feel like crap, and then you continue to eat like crap. And on the other hand, when we eat good food, we usually feel good and we want to continue to eat good food. So that's why it's very important that we get in alignment and make those decisions versus saying I can't versus I don't. That's going to help continue to build that momentum on the right track that we want to head down. Tip number 3 is going to be to create some structure in your day around nutrition. If you're erratically eating, you're skipping meals, your blood sugar is going to spike and crash, leading to some stronger cravings and ultimately playing macro Jenga at the end of the day, or binging at the end of the day if you were doing some sort of fasting and you have an overwhelming amount of hunger that has caused you to focus on food throughout the entire beginning of the day, leading to more intense overeating or binging at night. Setting regular meal times can help, sort of similar to with your sleep, your circadian rhythm, going to bed and waking up at the same time every day. Having similar meal times every single day will essentially train your body to know when that food is coming and have regular cycles with the leptin and ghrelin, which are our hunger and satiety hormones. Also focusing on foods that have a higher satiety index, meaning they keep you full for longer, and filling your meals with those foods that are usually higher in protein and higher in fiber will help keep you fuller for longer versus snacking on quick digestible, simple carbs all day that don't really ever make you feel full and content and lead you to continuously eat throughout the entire day. Tip number 4 is one that you might not expect, and that is to sleep better. Get more quality sleep and more quantity of sleep. Aiming for about 7 to 8 hours for most people, but having poor sleep continuously is going to increase your cortisol levels, which is your stress hormone, and with that will come an increase in your ghrelin, which is your hunger hormone, and a decrease in your body's ability to make good decisions that ultimately align with your goals. You're gonna have less willpower throughout the day, which when it comes down to it, a lot of us are only relying on that willpower to make the right decision. So if you're not getting good sleep, you're gonna be hungrier, you're gonna have more stress during your day, and you're gonna have a less likely chance that you make the good decision that aligns with your goals. And for most of us, the binging happens late at night. So simply by going to bed, you're not gonna be able to binge if you're sleeping. And I'd like to bet that there's a pretty high chance your body could definitely benefit from a few extra hours of sleep. Number 5 is going to be delay, don't resist. So many of us, when these temptations or cravings or hunger things come on, we're so quick to make a decision and then we start eating, and then leads to overeating and binging, and right after it we immediately regret that decision. So constantly relying on willpower, while it may work sometimes, eventually that's gonna be a battle that you're not gonna win. You're gonna come home from work one day, a lot of stressors are going on, the house is crazy, maybe you got a lot to do before you go to bed, and that willpower's at an all-time low. The cravings are definitely gonna win that battle. But science has shown that usually cravings and these temptations only last for about 5 to 7 minutes. So if we can create a delay between when that craving or temptation hits us and when we actually make a decision, odds are either that craving will have dissipated by that point and be completely gone, or we'll be in a lot better state of mind to make a rational decision that we're gonna be happy with come tomorrow. So for instance, let's say all of a sudden I have a craving to start eating some chocolate. All I'm going to do is find something else to do for the next 10 to 15 minutes, making sure to exceed that 5 to 7 minute kind of period where the cravings last, and go do something else that'll take my mind off of the food. That could be go on a walk, read a bit of a book, listen to a podcast, or eat something such as pickles that are very low in calorie and pretty satiating, or drink some water with electrolytes, because oftentimes when we feel that initial hunger cue, a lot of times it's actually a thirst cue, and our body is just thirsty for some sodium and some water versus actual food. So drinking some water and electrolytes, or even sparkling water, which with the CO2 and the gases and carbonated drinks, that's also going to expand in your stomach and help make you feel a little bit more full as well. So we had that initial temptation or craving. We either did something, go on a walk, read a book, eat some pickles, a very low calorie or 0 calorie food, or drink some water, or sip on a diet soda or sparkling water. Oftentimes, by the time that 10 to 15 minutes is up, we won't care at all about whatever that food was that we were craving. It'll be 100% dissipated, or what we did made us feel full and satiated enough to move on with our day. So stop trying to battle yourself. Just simply create a delay between the temptation and the response. That way you're not building resistance, and that'll allow you to handle cravings without feeling like you're constantly battling yourself. So there you have it. My 5 strategies to stop binging and overeating so that you can finally stick to a diet and get lean and stay lean. So if you're serious about losing some body fat and getting lean and staying lean, you need to have a plan that respects your lifestyle and your habits without creating any sort of guilt or stress. Reflect on your triggers, take control of your mindset, create structure, prioritize your sleep, and delay, don't resist. And we need to focus on progress over perfection. It might not work 100% right away, but if each time you can reflect and progress and implement something new, you'll eventually find what does work for you. If this video resonated with you or helped you in any sort of way, give it a like and click subscribe for more science-backed fitness strategies. Drop a comment below on what is your most frequent trigger when it comes to binges, and let's work on this one together. See you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching.